So, fuck. It always is right, like, so I press record, uh, like, so I hit camera on my phone, and then it looks a certain way. But once I press record, because of the way I have my settings, then it gets darker. So then I need more light. So then I say fuck. So, excuse me for a few seconds. That's better. So I wanted to talk about the extra step, um, because there's the 12 steps, and I've talked about it before, but I really think it's worth noting, and this is especially for people who are into conspiracy theories. If you're into conspiracy theories, you might notice that I've worn the same garb for the same several days. So, something you should know about my life is that often through the week I wear uh, the same underwear more than I should, uh, the same pants more than I should. I used to change my underwear more often, but now it's more my t shirts. I, I change my t shirt every day. And sometimes I'll wear bandanas, different bandanas every day, sometimes the same one as I've done this week, mostly. Or I have several ones this color and this exact print. And my socks, I've not changed them as often as I should, but I change them more. But anyway, technically speaking, this is a different costume because I've been changing my white t-shirts. Anyway, the extra the extra step, because the 12 steps require that you be sober. And one of my contentions, and unfortunately I use it as an excuse, yet it's true, is that for people who are into conspiracy theories, and you don't even need to be much into them, when, I mean, everybody's into conspiracy theories whether they know it or not. And because the other side of another way to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. But anytime we assume that another person has an agenda, if we assume, if we assume, if we don't know, if we haven't, if we're not clairvoyant, if we don't have complete optics on the situation, then we don't know. Surveillance. If we don't have complete surveillance on someone else, and even if we do, we still may not know their intentions because intentions are so deep. But anyway, one of the things we need is an extra step in the 12 steps, like to say I have a drinking problems. It's it's a gross understatement. Yet at the same time, to say that I'm not touched and that you're not touched is a gross understatement. And again, this is for people who are into conspiracy theories. And if you're only into one, or two, or three, you're missing the point. Because in a sense, it's the summation of conspiracy theories. Because people say, people talk about a lot about emergence these days, where which kind of corresponds to the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. But emergence is an idea where consciousness, or what is called consciousness, I prefer awareness, but where knowing, wisdom comes out of things that aren't that after the fact, versus awareness being a more primary principle. So we're either on the side of forms giving rise to awareness, or awareness giving a rise to forms, if we're going to split it in a oversimplified dichotomy. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about as far as conspiracy theories go is that so far as conspiracy theories go, it's well understood that people with more power, however you define power, are programming us in all these different types of ways. In deadening us. So, if you're not into conspiracy theories, don't watch this. But if you've watched a lot about conspiracy theories and you understand just that much of it, that we're being deadened, that we're being stultified, that there are all these chemicals in our environment and all these impulses that are touching us in certain ways, millions and millions of people know what I'm talking about. And it's always given a negative connotation. For good reason, and good job for doing your homework, if that's your perspective. And it's still kind of my perspective, I understand that perspective, but the other, going farther, it's not in opposition to that doctrine or that thesis or that conviction, but it's going further and farther. Is that flat out, we are so psychic, we are so telepathic, we are so empathetic. We, as we are made, feel so much. We, as we are made, in the image. in the form. We as we are made are so great. And so, and this is the thing, man, this is going to strike people wrong, but hear me out. We are so godly. Well, what's it mean to be God? People want to be in heaven. People want to be like God. People want power. People want to be telepathic. Let me tell you what happens when you become telepathic, when you even dip your toe into it. Because, well, first of all, just people alone. If you become, okay, I'm oversimplifying, but please go with the analogy. If you become like God, you hear prayers. Most prayers aren't a genuine from the heart. Thank you. Most prayers aren't the prayers we share, whether in a Sunday worship or whether on like clicks on a YouTube video. Most prayers are, God! And not only that, we pray without even knowing we're praying every time we give off an emotional, energetic plume to prayer. And it doesn't just go for what we call people. When a fawn sees its mother and father killed, that emotional plume of no, no, God hears all of that. And because we are made in the image, as they say, one of the reasons we're deadened is to keep us here. Because if we weren't deadened, by the things which keep us from the truth, people want the truth. People want to go to the other side. There is a massive, the false god of this world is larger than God. The Alpha and the Omega are perfect. They do grow. The Alpha and the Omega are a perfect harmonic geometry. So they go all the way to zero and all the way to infinity. They being one, which isn't a far cry from the Parmenidean it is, which I'm told in Greek means the same thing that as they are, which can also be interpreted as what is or what's are. So it runs the gamut, interpreting it via Parmenides. the alpha and the omega, the I and the we, the individual and the collective. All is one, yeah. But one has many powers. Is it one to the zero, one to the one to the two, one to the three? How many circles? The thing is, when we become more clear and more like God, people think, and I know because I'm a people think, oh, well, that will give me more. But the big thing it gives us more of is horror. And if we're gentle, it sucks. It sucks that it sucks so bad that people just who want to be like kind and nice, like I just want to be kind and nice. That's not to say that I'm kind and nice. Like I have a raging, horrible temper, and I've done things in my life that I just consider so horrible that like I don't know if I can ever forgive myself. And I feel horrible about sharks and tigers. Born to kill, and like what a horrible life. Like what a horrible job for a mom who wants to care for her child. And like the cuteness of a baby, anything. Any baby's pretty much cute. Even fucking vicious killers, you know? So this romping little lion jumping all over the place, being cute and tumbling around and playing, and then growing up into a mass murderer. It's so sad. Or like I think a lot of wolves who get really angry when they're about to kill, but they have to be. Because if they don't kill, they don't survive. And they're angry because the thing they need in their stomach fights against them. That's a tough position to be in. As it so happens, somewhere in the evolution of the domestication of dogs or the domestication of people to raising and protecting and feeding dogs alternatively, has created dogs who actually can live longer as vegans. The oldest or one of the oldest dogs on record was a vegan, so dogs don't have to eat meat. And it's a dog that doesn't have to get so angry. It's just sad that so many kind, gentle people and animals become food. They have so much to offer, but they're not inherently murderous. I'm very angry. I have all kinds of faults. I've been programmed in every kind of way by the media, by tradition, so to speak. My family, just whatever, just growing up in culture. I'm basically I'm a piece of junk made out of recycled material, just biding my time on the way to my own recycling. But like that extra step of or the extra couple steps, like you might be a wasted drunk, drug addict, money addict, sex addict, like fitness addict, like you might be obsessed in some way, physically. As the means to deaden you from the horrifying truth of the truth. Because once you clean up, especially for empaths, or once you just like slow down or stop and chill, and the goal is really to be very productive and to do a lot with these and this, but like to marry these and this and this. That's the great work. And this and this. All of it. To marry it. But it's not just the whole as without thing. And like the inner work and the outer work, like it really does have to all fit. But and I'm definitely prejudiced on this issue. As in I have a prejudgment, or I'm speaking to my weakness. There are too many people who, if we wait to be sober or healthy or perfect, what needs to be said won't be said. If we wait until we're holy people, if we wait until we're saints, if we wait until we're Kung Fu masters, if we wait until we're Zen masters, if we wait until we look perfect or have the perfect job or the perfect house or perfect car, if we wait we won't contribute. There are too many people who have too much to contribute who say nothing. And I guess one of my contentions is, because I've experienced it in my own life, is that some people who abuse themselves hurt themselves in a myriad of ways. Some that society just flat out deem as bad, and others that society like hold up as good. Sometimes sometimes it's just flat out like addiction, debauchery, the bad shit. But I guess my contention is that if you have a persisting, lasting problem, it's because you can't handle the truth, yes. But it might not be because you're a bad person. It might be because the world is so terrifying and kind of terrible that you can't deal with it, in my case, like sober. If I get completely sober, including quitting cigarettes and coffee, if I get to just cigarettes and coffee and food as an addiction, maybe whacking off, right? I'll limit it to those things. If I get just there, I can sustain. But if I do those plus beer and a little weed, I'm actually in a better place if I'm just there, though the goal is to be completely sober and healthy. It is. But if I try to get there, I used to be the biggest, like, anti-drug, anti-smoking, like all that shit when I was younger. A kid, or a teenager, till I was like 16, 17. And I was worse off then than I am now. I had other merits that could be like, oh, he was a good kid. But in here and in here, I was more crazy then. One of the reasons we deaden ourselves is actually to keep us here, because if we're empathic and we're truly like clean, we receive more. We hear more cries, and it hurts. It hurts to hear others hurting. It hurts to know others are hurting. It hurts to think about others are hurting. It hurts to know it, see it, feel it, in person or from afar, in a vision, in a dream, in a daydream, in a contemplation, in an imagination, in appearing, a peering, P-E-E-R. In a prophecy, in a clairvoyance, in a feeling. It hurts so bad. So bad. I guess the only message I have for today is don't wait till you're perfect to start talking. And maybe don't even wait till you're good. There's no place where the truth isn't, even in you. And the truth has a tough job of struggling to keep people like us alive long enough so that the truth can speak through us. My hope is people like us can heal. But if it's impossible for me to heal, whether it's possible or impossible for me to heal, when I look at the evidence, it doesn't look good. But I want to very much. But if I can't, then I want to give what I have to give. And I just hope so much that it finds its mark. I know it'll be a ways off.